Well, it is a great day in South Carolina, and I wanted to come to you to say that, we have gotten through the 1,000-year flood. And if you think about what happened, it was an unbelievable amount of rain that came down that literally washed out streets and homes and businesses. But what we're proud to say is so much of that is back up. You can look, all of our interstates are going, 86% of our roads are back up and moving on schedule. Tourism is back up to where it needs to be. South Carolina is open for business. And for that, we're grateful. And you look, it's not raining today, God has smiled, and the sun is shining. But this is the part that you wouldn't know. While the debris has gone off the roads, if you took a right-hand turn into any of the neighborhoods in some of the counties like Williamsburg County and Clarendon County and in Sumter and all over this state, you will still see devastation. You will still see homes that have been damaged. You'll still see homes in need of repair. And I want to give you a story. During one of our Team South Carolina days, there was a couple from Sumter. She was crying uncontrollably. The husband was still in shock and not saying anything. And when I talked to them about what had happened, she was a veteran that had been hurt during her time in service, and she got $300 a month. Their trailer was damaged. They had mold all over their trailer. She got $300 a month, and she had just spent $270 to get her children clothes that weren't molded so that they could go to school. I don't know what happened to that couple, but I know she had an assessment of $18,000 in damage. I know that FEMA probably was able to help her some. I know that the state was probably able to help her a little bit more. But that couple stays in my mind because they're not the only ones. Every family deserves a safe roof over their head. And here was a disabled veteran who had given her service to our country. And what they gave her was a tarp. And they told her to go back and live in her home until she could get it fixed. A home that had mold, a home that you would not put your children in, and a home that I would not put my children in. That's why we're here today. It is because the feds are doing all they can. I think we have had probably over 86,000 people who have registered with FEMA. About 25% of them are getting help. That means 75% are not. We've had a lot of work by our nonprofits that are too numerous to name but have done phenomenal work. And so what do we do to help make sure that every family has a roof over their head? What do we do going into this holiday season where we're counting our blessings, knowing that there's no child out there that doesn't have a home or a safe place to live? So there was no place else to go. When government is done, we have to keep going. And so we started a One South Carolina fund. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow us to complete the work that government can't do. And so we went to all of our South Carolinians that we are so proud that have made a name for themselves, whether it is in entertainment, whether it's in sports, whether it's in so many other things. You can look at the news, you name it, the owner of the Panthers. It's very cool people that when we called them and we said, this is what we want to do, we didn't get a no from a single person. Every single person said, tell me how I can help. And so this One South Carolina fund is in the name of that couple that I met in Sumter, knowing that there are other families like that out there, and saying that we want to do more. We want to help. We want to see what we can do. And so what we are doing is we are asking the people of South Carolina to step up today. We're asking the people of the country to step up today. And the way we're doing that is we're saying, if you were blessed and did not have damage by your home, with your home, if you were blessed and you had insurance, if you were blessed and you're able to get back into a safe place, pay it forward. Help those that are not. We are going into the giving season, and we've got South Carolinians that are in need, and we want to step up and help. And so every one of these people on the board and every one of the ones behind me today, have decided that what we're going to do is we want to thank the Central Community Foundation that has allowed us to come in and work. My foundation, the original Six Foundation, is underwriting all the costs of this so that everything that is given is going straight to supplies, going straight to making sure that those houses are rebuilt so that there is no other operating costs that are in place. And with that, I'm working with Colonel Schwedo. We are identifying the families. Obviously, the families that we're going to be helping the most are senior citizens, those that can't do for themselves, or those that are in poverty level that very much have to have that extra work that can't have it. And so I am extremely humbled and grateful that we have these people here with us today. Some couldn't be with us and some could, and so I'm going to ask those that did come up to speak, and we'll start with Governor David Beasley.
Well, Governor Haley, thank you. And this is a prime example of how the people of South Carolina can come together in a public-private partnership, where the governor clearly states that government can only do so much, and the government, and particularly Governor Haley, in this tragic time where infrastructure was at a critical chaos with all the flooding, this 1,000-year rain, it was devastating all across the state, and particularly in some pockets. But once the infrastructure, roads and bridges, water and sewer are stabilized and secure, then comes a rebuilding of homes with people who've lost everything, don't have insurance. What do? And families who are already poor and needy. And this is where I think it showcases the greatness of South Carolina, how as we as citizens can come together, people of faith, regardless of your denomination, regardless of your religion, can come together based upon love your neighbor as yourself. And there are thousands of people all across this state that need your help. Whether you live in South Carolina or around the United States, please give consideration, touch into your heart, and then in your wallet, and go to onescfund.org. That's onescfund.org. And whether it's $1, $10, $100, or $1,000, or whatever you can afford, help the victims and the people that have been devastated by this tragedy. And it's ongoing, and as Governor Haley says, whether you're at the Capitol, whether you're in Clarendon County or Williamsburg County or any other rural area of South Carolina that you do not see on your everyday drive, these people need your help. And so, Governor Haley, thank you for the leadership of not just as governor and all the realities of governing, but for helping the poor and the needy and those who need it. This state's been through a lot in the last many months. And I can tell you, as much as I travel around the world, everyone talks about how South Carolina shines. And so we can't neglect our own people that have been devastated by this. So thank you for taking the leadership of stepping up once again to show that we are a shining city on the top of a hill that showcases the rest of the world that we're going to help our neighbor and we're going to help the people in South Carolina. And so we want to ask everybody in this state, step up, do it, and do it now. And so having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Coach and then two great athletes who are behind me. And these guys are so much bigger before I came along. But Coach, good to have you, and turn it over to you. Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you, Governor Haley, for allowing me to be a part of, something that's grassroots. I've been one that has been drawn to grassroots opportunities, and this state has definitely, if I look back on when I first came to the state, our program, our women's basketball program, was a grassroots program. Now it's turned into something really special, not because of any particular thing that I've done. It's what the people of South Carolina has done. So anything that's been needed in this state, whether it's love over hate, whether it's opportunities to go out and give by doing community service, but this is something that we've been given a whole lot. The people that are standing behind me, we've been given a lot, and to whom much is given, much is required, and this is an easy requirement for all of us. So if you live and you breathe every day, here's an opportunity to get behind something that can affect so many people. And I thank Governor Haley for allowing me to be a part of it. And, hopefully, we'll be standing here next year with a lot of success stories. Thank you.
When a tragedy like the SC flood happens, it's devastating. It's devastating to the whole state, especially to the rural areas in South Carolina and the cities that we don't see, just like Governor Haley said. And we have a governor that truly cares, that genuinely cares about the people here. So I'm just so blessed to be a part of it, blessed to be here standing with these people. And I mean, it's just been an honor. But the thing I want you guys to know is that I go all around the state. I do different speaking engagements, different football camps, different things around the state, and the one common theme that I see all the time is that people stay together. People love each other. People stay close. And I mean, this is another opportunity for us to, as South Carolinians, to show the whole country how strong we are, how much we love each other, and to give back as much as we can to this state. I'm a South Carolinian. I'm proud to be a South Carolinian. I'll do everything in my power to help the people here. So I'm blessed to be here. Turn it over to Taj Boyd.
I'm excited to be a part of this, to be completely honest. I'm not originally from South Carolina, but this is home for me now. Everything that I've grown into is because of this state. And I'm just proud to be a part of it. You know, as Marcus mentioned, there's been a lot of tough adversity that this state has faced. In every instance, in every situation, everybody's come together, bounced back like nothing even happened. And this is another opportunity for us to show that as well. You know, it's tough to see. I haven't really been home. I just got home. But as I've been out of the country, you know, it's just amazing to see the hashtags, to see the support, to see everyone just join in and, again, show everybody who we are as a state. And it's no different right here. Sometimes you drive through and you forget certain parts of the state. You forget some cities. But they got to understand that we didn't forget about them. And, again, we're just blessed to be a part of this. I'm excited for this opportunity. You know, donate everything that you can. I know most of the people are going to try to do their part. We're going to try to do our part, and let's just make it all happen. So go to scfund.org and just give what you can. It's for the state. Thank you.
Thank you, and I want to thank the Governor, Taj, Marcus, and Coach Staley for being here. I want to thank everybody on this board. We are one South Carolina, and there's never been a year where we have shown we are one South Carolina like this year. We've been triple hit in the gut this year with instances that were real tragedies and that caused a lot of hurt. But we have come together in a way that the entire country has watched what true love, compassion, acceptance, and kindness looks like. The One South Carolina Fund is the final way of saying, you know what, it's not just what we say, it's what we do. It's a chance for everybody to come together. So my call is to civic organizations. My call is to students that are collecting for one need or another. My call is to those that do things for Thanksgiving for families, or try and do something we as a family for Christmas every year, always try and adopt a family or do something. One South Carolina is your opportunity to help those neighbors. You may never know who they are, but they are our family. They are South Carolinians. They are people who don't deserve to be in this situation. Some people were spared. That doesn't mean these people didn't deserve any better. And so I am very proud. We've got our advisory committee behind me. We are looking forward to really seeing where this goes. We ask everybody to, again, count your blessings and pay them forward to this One South Carolina Fund. And let's really make some magic happen by giving some children their homes back. That's the perfect Christmas gift we could give, is to give them their home. And with that, we'll open it up for any questions you have for me or for any of the people behind me.
Governor, you mentioned that the original six will be underwriting much of this effort. With people giving back, there's always a question of how that money is being used. Can you explain a little bit more how that use will, or how the original six will allow this money to go towards happening?
Yes, so first I want to ask, we've got our chair from the Central Community Fund. Did I get that right? I must have seen. Central Carolina Community Foundation. I'll tell you, they were kind enough, come on up. They were kind enough to say in the beginning when I met with all of the nonprofits, I was telling them thank you, but also said there's more we need to do. And in this luncheon, we came together, and Joanne Turnquist, who could not be with us today, said, let us know if there's a way to help. And so what they have allowed us to do is they have opened up their space to allow us to use their 501c3. So this is all tax deductible. But there's an underwriting cost. And so what we did with the original Six Foundation is we are underwriting the costs of the operations, because I want every donor to know that the money that you're giving is going straight to rebuilding. It's going straight to supplies to get those done. And so what they will be doing is putting that in grant form to the nonprofits to do the work that they need to do. Do you want to add any more to that?
Just more of the specifics of it. We will have a application that people fill out for the grant. We're using a collaborative approach that we had already built for the Midlands, where we're including the regional mayors, civic leaders, fund holders, people who know the community and know where the needs are. So they'll all be working together to identify the needs and provide the funds where the needs are greatest.
And Will, the other thing is we've got Colonel Schwedo, and one of the things I've asked him is, okay, get me my armies of builders, wherever they are, and let's go get and pinpoint the most vulnerable. So that's a lot of what he's done. FEMA has actually pinpointed some that were very vulnerable, that still had unmet needs, and so those are the ones we're going to go after first. Any other questions?
Governor, on a side note, today, University of South Carolina students are protesting for the university to increase diversity initiatives, essentially. What is your response to that as technically a board member?
Okay, any other flood questions before we get to that?
How soon will you see some of this money contributed?
So our question was, how soon will we see some of the money contributed? And I think we'll see it immediately. You know, I think right now we're going to go ahead. I know that Bob McNair has already put down $100,000 to start it. We're going to continue to see more money come through, and as it does, we'll give updates. But what we saw were these people are willing not just to put their name behind it, but also they know a large group of people that can be very helpful and that will want to be generous. And so we're hoping that we can pull this together. But, you know, if it's $5, $5,000, or $50,000, it's going to help a neighbor in need, and we couldn't be more grateful for that.
Do you know how many families approximately that you're going to be looking at here?
Colonel Schwedo, do you want to?
Yes, ma'am.
She asked how many families approximately will be affected.
I can talk the initial burst. The initial burst says there are about 5,000 families that have been vetted that have significant need that meet the criteria of over 65, under about 20,000 income, or have mobility accessibility needs. They are further vetted down to about right now appears about 1,200 individuals that have immediate need. They actually have to sign up and they have to sign releases with the volunteer organizations. And when they do, we'll get them the support we need. The key is that they can't do anything without the contributions that are coming from this organization. So the faster they get the money, the faster they can start swinging hammers and get us back to normal.
Will there be a person assigned to each family that will take them through that process? Because I've been talking to a lot of elderly people who can't get out of their home. They don't have daily transportation. Will somebody go into their home and help them through that process?
FEMA is actually doing some really great dirt level work, and they're going in, they're identifying these individuals, and they're turning them over when they qualify to the volunteer organizations. They are going in, they're doing the estimates, and they're coming back. Now, not everybody that's going to initially qualify. It's a very large population. Getting it boiled down to the 1,200 we've got now creates, unfortunately, in the short term, some haves and have-nots. Over time, we expand that base and we get better. So there's a small pool right now who are the most vulnerable, and they're the ones that the volunteer associations are focusing on.
And what we've done is we've made sure that there's a lot of accountability. That's the reason we have the advisory committee, is they're going to vet to make sure that the people who really need it are getting it. And we know this from FEMA goes in and inspects every single home. So they come out with a lot of data that lets us know exactly what they did and where there were still unmet needs, that they just couldn't do it, but that it's still unsafe for these people to live in.
Have you asked the congressional delegation to get a special bill through Congress to maybe help South Carolina, or do you think that should be done?
I've always thought that, first of all, we had FEMA come in. They're doing what they can. You'll see that we'll come out with some assessments, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's repair that was from the storm, that will be an initial part of it. But, these are things that at some point government doesn't pay for. And so, yes, we could go out and we could go to Congress and we could go through that whole fight of doing that. But I know the generosity of the people in South Carolina. And I want these people to have their homes now. I don't want them to go through the D.C. process, which can take months and years to have happen. I want to know that those kids are going to have a home, and that we're going to do it shortly, in the holidays or after the holidays, that they're not going to have to wait on bureaucrats in D.C. to figure that out. This is about making sure that these kids are safe, and this is about making sure that there's a safe roof over their head. And I saw the pictures of that trailer that they wanted them to go back and live in, and I know that there's people out there that think if they paint over the mold, it'll be okay. And it's not okay. It's got to be gutted. And it's got to be done by professionals that know how to do this. And these nonprofits have worked very hard. They've been trained. They know how to do it. If I can get them the supplies, they can get us built back up just as fast.
Governor, do you have a goal in mind, fundraising goal you want to reach?
Oh, the sky's the limit. So if I put a number out there, we might go past it and that won't happen. If I put it, so I don't want to go with that. I think this is going to be a time where we see the generosity of South Carolinians. I think this is going to be a time where we see the generosity of a lot of people outside of South Carolina that have looked at what we've endured over the year and said, look, we want to give. And I think we've gotten a lot of calls from different businesses saying, what else can we do? How can we help? We needed to create a situation where they knew that those dollars were going straight to those families in ways of supplies. And I think this is what's going to do that. Okay. All right. And with that, we're going to have everyone exit, and then I'll answer the rest of the questions that you may have for me. Okay, and we'll now open it back up, and if you don't mind repeating your question, I'm sorry.
So University of South Carolina students are protesting today for more diversity initiatives. They want no crazy people to weigh in on if you think the school is doing enough for inclusion.
Well, anytime a group goes out and says that we think things could be better, what I hope that they do is that they, calmly go and issue out where they think their concerns are, and that USC officials listen. That's the key. It's okay for people to be frustrated, or it's okay for them to point out things. But the important part is they have to listen to both sides, and there's got to be listening on both sides. I would expect USC officials to do that, and they should address these students in the way that they feel heard. And that if there's action that needs to be taken, action is taken.
Governor, in the past, you've been supportive of some refugees coming to South Carolina. Have your opinions changed following the attacks on Carolina?
So what we've done is over the weekend we were looking at the policy. The way we had it is there's two different groups that bring in refugees. There's the World Relief Fund and the Lutherans. So the way they have always brought them in is there's heavy background checks. The FBI, DHS, all these others that have vetted them. And what you have to know is these are people who have been persecuted for being Christian in other countries. These are people who have been persecuted for their political beliefs. These are people who I'm aware of that came over that were interpreters for our military and saved our American lives. And so in turn, we saved theirs by bringing them. That's what that settlement has been about. As of October 1, there are no Syrians that have come over in South Carolina. We have been working, our policy shop's been working over the weekend, because what we want to do is make sure that everything that we know to be true is still true. In light of the president's comments, we want to make sure nothing is changing. And so today I have phone calls with Secretary Johnson, with Homeland Security, as well as the FBI, just to make sure that we know. So the one thing you want to do is when you have something, you make sure it's right. When a situation like this changes, you go back and make sure that everything is still the way you know it to be. So we're going to check on that. If something needs to be changed, we will make a change and we'll make a statement. And if something is going right, we're going to ask for proof to make sure that it's still okay.
And you said no Syrians as of today. Would you be okay with Syrians coming into South Carolina?
Well, I think we all need to pause for a second and look at what happened in Paris. And so our goal is, how do I make sure that I'm doing my part to keep South Carolina safe? We will know that through conversations today. I'm going to find out exactly who we have coming. We know the World Relief Group Syria is not one of the groups that they have. They don't have Syrians coming over. We don't know about Lutherans, but as of now, they have not been accepting Syrians. What we're going to do is go back and start from ground one and say, okay, tell me, has any of this changed? What is going to happen? And in light of President Obama saying 10,000 more refugees were coming, finding out exactly who those are and how that applies. So I think we'll know in the next day or two the information. If we need to change our policy, we will. If we think in any way whatsoever South Carolinians are going to be in danger, we're going to change our policy. If we get information that everything is as we knew it to be, then we'll keep it the same.
Governor, on that same vein, Senator Harvey Feely just sent out a letter that was hand-delivered to your office regarding the Spartanburg program. Have you received several concerns from lawmakers regarding what happened over the weekend?
So I think yes. So, well, I know there have been some lawmakers in the past who have had concerns about this. We have to be responsible, right? And so what I know is there have not been any Syrians that have come through that situation. And I want you to, just from a personal standpoint, the two interpreters that protected Michael's unit and kept them safe when they were in Afghanistan came through this program. These are people who have protected our troops. These are people who've been persecuted for being Christian. These are people who have been hurt because of their political beliefs. These are people who we took in because they were unsafe where they were. In light of Paris, that's a very different set of situations. That group of refugees, we'd want to know. They have not been the group that we've been talking about. But what we are doing is we're going to talk to the FBI, we're going to talk to Secretary Johnson today and find out where in our story does that fit. But I will tell you, it does make you say you have to take a step back and say, are we still okay? And we do have to take precautions as a state to make sure that we are ensuring the people that do come into the state will not harm the citizens of our state as we go forward.
How do you think the people of South Carolina are going to react to refugees coming to the state?
No, I think the people of South Carolina have been sympathetic to those that are, whether they're interpreters that have helped our military or whether they're Christians that have been persecuted. The people of South Carolina have been very generous. Having said that, we want to make sure that is the same group that they're talking about. If they're going to change the group on us, if they're going to change who comes in, we'll put a stop to it. But if it's still that same group of people, South Carolinians have been very kind-hearted with it.
Are we going to see an increase in security at the Port of Charleston because of this?
So in our conversations, I know that the chief of SLED has been in conversations with Homeland Security as well as the FBI. Everything is on heightened alert across South Carolina and across the country right now.
What course of military action do you think is appropriate in response?
I think, first of all, our thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Paris, and there wasn't anyone that didn't look at that didn't go back and think of 9/11. So it hit very close to home, and it felt very personal, and it brought back the Charleston tragedy to me, because these are crimes of hate. They're senseless murders. These are innocent people, and it's wrong. And I've always said hate won't win, but you have to take action on that. I want to see this country, I want to see President Obama take action. I want to see him do something, because what you have is Paris has started these airstrikes. We need to have their back. This is not a matter of, we don't need to get involved or else they'll get mad at us. This is a fact that this is a very real war. This is a very real challenge that we are facing in this country and in the world today, and we've got to take action. I want to see President Obama look at that, and I do think we need to have troops on the ground, and I do think we need to show strong force, and I do think we need to say this is not okay. And these are our brothers and sisters. They may be in France, but these are our brothers and sisters, and hate at any level is not okay. And I think it's always been our part to make sure that the United States has been a strong country. We've been an active country for our allies. It'll be interesting to see what NATO does, but we're going to be watching.
Governor, are you going to the RGA conference this week, and do you have any interest in being chairman should you be elected?
I am going to the RGA conference. I have been on the executive committee since my first year. It is a group that I dearly love, but I have told them that I will not do anything until for the next 2 years. I have too much in South Carolina to do, so I am open for getting in more leadership positions in 17 and 18, but I would not do it now. Okay, thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.